Hello again and welcome back. It's In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post ahead of a super duper Saturday with the July Cup, the John Smith's Cup, the Summer Mile. There's Chester. There's Salisbury. What else is there? There's Dundalk, Limerick, Hamilton. I mean, you name it, we've got it on Saturday. We're going to try and focus on the best of the very best. But I'm sure there are plenty of other races that our panel have got opinions in as well. And you at home, because as ever, this is live and interactive right now on YouTube. So hello to everyone who is watching. Get involved in the chat, like the stream, and get involved in the comments as well. We've had some cracking comments this week. It's been a real roller coaster ride, and we've had some cracking racing today as well. And Appleby and Buick, no wonder they ignore Royal Ascot. They've very much been back with a bang today. They won, I don't know, at least 3, maybe 4 races. Plenty at the July course today. Of course, the one they didn't win on is the one that every single person on the show last night agreed would just turn up and win. But we'll get to that in just a second. As for the rest, Cinderella's Dream, maybe again running well at Royal Ascot is definitely a bonus if you're an Appleby horse, because she finished second and came out and won today. God knows how good Rebel's Romance will be if we see him very soon. Venetian Sun, we didn't win by far, but I'll be honest with you, I was quite impressed with the way that she did it in a very different race indeed, and there was a lot of other talking points as well. We'll get to those in just a second, but first things first, hello to our panel. Starting off with Mr. Paul Kealy. You have smashed the crossbar to bits.
Yeah, rather annoying. Does happen sometimes, doesn't it? But it still means you're in good form though, doesn't it? I mean, you haven't backed any winners, but you're not far off. But yeah, it was painful. Mahaba Gayeth in the opener got beat by King's Charter. Now, given how far King's Charter came back from the win, I think he was probably by some margin the best horse. No complaints. A little bit more annoyed about Endless Victory really in the next race, because I think he got racing a bit too soon with the third and just set it up for the winner. But that's racing, isn't it? That's what happens. Yeah,
and again, I mean, look, and to be fair, again, we had some great comments on the show, but we had one from last night, which, Graham Kennedy says, love watching these shows. You know it's top class racing when they're on. Love all the panel and even my puns. So you must be a bit tapped there, Graham. So welcome to the club. They give good insight and different angles into races, so you have a better chance of getting a turn off the bookies. Can't understand the haters complaining when they back something they picked out and it doesn't win. Because, and this is the key thing, it's normally the best of the best they are predicting races in. And as Segal says, you pay your money, you take chance, or something to that effect. So yeah, I think that's the thing. Look, we're looking at the best races at the best festivals, and if you're rattling the crossbar, you're doing all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, with loads of places at Royal Ascot, not very many winners, and that's what happens. They're the hardest races around, and but we like doing them. We like tackling them as well. I mean, that's what we're in it for. You like the big puzzles. I get bored stiff if it was just 6-runner races, 5-4 favourite, day in, day out.
Cheltenham Festival.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, it just, it would bore the pants off me. I'd have to find something else to do.
Yeah. And Tom Segal at home. Just a shout out to MB on the show as well. So they never mention the bucket loads of losers either. They make out they're all geniuses with a few winners. Look, of course you have bucket loads of winners, MB, but look, I don't know about you, MB, but I don't sit at home going, people go, how was your punting today? I go, I tell you what, I backed a few losers. Let me tell you about them. So, look, of course, we all back losers, MB, that's the game.
I talk about my losers.
Don't watch MB.
Yeah, I was going to say, we all talk about our losers. Anyway, Tom, what losers have you backed today?
Yeah, I don't know why these people watch if they get so cross with us. It's a bit of fun. We're trying our best, and we'll find, put you on the right track occasionally. That's the game.
Absolutely. What did you? What did you? So, what did you get wrong today?
Well, I don't think I got anything wrong. I thought Harbour Gayeth ran really well. I thought Night Eyes ran really well. I thought Endless Victory and Real Dream ran really well. They just got beat, didn't they? I mean, on another day, any of them could have won. But they didn't, and that's the way it goes. Some days you get lucky, some days you don't. It's fine. It's good. It's racing. It's fun.
Yeah. Also, what I liked about today as well is, look, again, King's Charter looked so far ahead of his handicap mark. It was untrue. Venetian Sun, exciting to see where she keeps going. She keeps winning. I mean, one for the gutter. Obviously, he'll be an E-ball possible. He was third in it last year. Cinderella's Dream. I know we said it wasn't a great Group 1, but she's still She's barely run a bad race and she's bounced back and she's beat January. Distant Storm, the front two even in the maiden pulled miles clear. Regardless how many winners you've got, I reckon we've seen some very good horses today.
Absolutely, and once again, I'm a bore people with pedigrees again, but just look down the winners. I think there was a couple for Kingman, a couple for, you know what I mean. Pedigrees come to the fore in these big meetings; they just do. And so I don't like mucking about with rubbish pedigrees, because I think you're on a hiding to nothing most of the time. I mean, form is obviously number one. I think people are. I should be. More people should be looking at pedigrees, I think, because I think they're the key to the big meetings. Run-of-the-mill stuff don't make any difference.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Even yesterday, Prince of India won that sprint handicap. He was Wootton Bassett out of I think it was a Judd Mare or something. It was a very good pedigree.
That was he? I can't remember, but he was really well bred.
Yeah.
Kingman had 2 winners today, a second, a fourth. Placed horse in the summer mare and the race at York too.
Well, she was the one I wanted to mention to, because of all your horses today. I said last night what I was slightly worried about was her going too late, and then they'll go up to 7. They have to go up to 7, don't they? She just keeps doing it.
Night Eyes, yeah. I think the track was probably wrong for her in hindsight. She's run really well there, but listen, take nothing away. The winner was really good. She's improving. I went back. We were talking off air saying, sometimes you change your opinion on the horses when you have another look at it. And I went back and had a look at her run in the Commonwealth Cup, and she did really well to finish 3rd or 4th or wherever she finished. She was sort of stuck in the middle. No horses were winning where she ran all through Ascot. Sort of on the wing of a group. They were either in the group on the far side or on the near side. No horses were winning on the wing, and she ran really well in the wing. So maybe she's really good. The form stacks up. You had the Lowther winner was 3rd. The Golden Jubilee winner was, 4th. The Golden Jubilee 4th was 2nd. I think, she's probably very good.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, cracking on then. Like I say, shout out to Mike Boyd, to Paul, to Darren Walker, to Dave Lamy, to John Trotter, and to David Foster. And also to, who said this? Where are we? I've lost it now. John Trotter says, "Hi Ross, can you do a stat? Is there a stat out there? Have you ever been a time when all the panel's naps have won on the same show?" That's a good question.
No.
York 2 years ago, our producer says, John Trotter. So it's coming back around, isn't it? But all right, lovely. Right, before we get stuck into the show, another thing before we get stuck into tomorrow's racing, and if you'll indulge me slightly, I'm doing my local pub quiz for the first time on Sunday, Tom. Okay.
Cool.
And the picture round, you've got to do a beer break round. Got to do a picture round. Is racehorses. So I've got pictures of racehorses, and I'll, if you don't mind, I want to test them on you too to see if they're all right. What do you reckon?
Hold on a minute. Your local pub is going to be able to spot racehorses in a picture round?
You'll see in a second.
Oh, okay.
All right, okay. So you ready to play? Right. So fastest finger first. I want you to shout out the name of the horse when it comes up on screen. All right. And we're testing you two against each other. Okay. Right. First one. Here we go.
Pebbles.
Keels is in first. Okay.
Rubbish! I smashed him.
2007 ARC winner.
Yeah.
Dylan Thomas.
Paul Kealy. Look at that. There we go. All right. Okay. Next up. Win a Grand National.
Ben Nevis.
Paul Kealy again. Look at this. All right. Next up.
Heels are thrashing me.
Win an Epsom Derby.
Could be any of the O'Brien horses.
2019, winning a bunch finish.
Anthony Van Dyke.
Segal's on the board. All right, here we go. There we go. Right, next one. Ebor winner.
Moon Ballad. No.
Sir Michael Stout, if I remember rightly.
Ebor. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. Moon something. Moon.
It's literally right there. So it's catchphrase. Say it as you see it.
Moon Cloud. Cloud Moon.
Purple Moon, guys. Purple Moon.
Purple Moon. It was Luca Kumani, not Michael Stout.
It was Luca Kumani. Apologies. There you go. Grand National winner. Dual Grand National winner.
Oh, Tiger Roll.
There we go. Next one. All right. Okay. 2023. Epsom Derby winner?
Jeez, I can't even remember for that far
Augusta
back.
Rodan.
Augusta Rodan, says Paul Kealy.
Never got that. You had to told me.
And this one won an Irish Grand
bunny
National.
Bunny
boiler.
boiler.
There you go. Segal gets it. Is that the last one? One more. There you go.
Nureyev.
Almost. Nijinsky. There you go. Okay, what was the final score, producers?
5-0 to me.
He didn't count. All right. We'll count them back. We'll put them in the chat. But yeah, was that all right? Will that go down all right in the quiz?
Well, I started well, but I don't stay, do I?
You're a Montemège. You're a sprinter. But was that go down all right, Segal? What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, good work, Ross. This is good. I'm thinking of making a trip back from Rhodes for the pub quiz in Leeds.
Absolutely. Okay, look, let's hope that nobody's watching who's going to be there on a Sunday night. But anyway, thanks for that. Enjoyed that. And that's the end of the show. No, we're going to get stuck into Super Saturday after this. Right, get involved in the Racing Post Smart View. Get involved on Super Saturday. Starting off in the 212 at Newmarket, we've got a fillies handicap here. Bit of racing, Royal Ascot, form on the table with Miss Nightfall at 9-4, Misinformation 11-4, Renine 13-2, Royal Velvet 13-2, Havana Pusey is 9-1, and Bountiful is 10-1 here. So we've got plenty of Ascot races being represented. We've got the Sandringham, we've got the Kensington Palace, we've got we've got a good race at York as well that ran in, and we've got plenty more in there. But I think it's fair to say that those two at the top of the betting, Paul Kealy, have caused you a lot of pain in the past few months.
Oh, loads of pain. Well, not misinformation so much. I mean, I have backed misinformation a few times, including once this year when she won and when she ran really well at York last year. But I didn't really have a stay in a mile, so I'm not going to moan about that one. I am moaning about Miss Nightfall though, because I think that's the one that got away. Because I backed her at 16-1 and she went off at 16-5. The day after, the jockeys could not get enough of the near rail, and she was drawn 28 the following day, and they didn't want to go near it at all. And by the time she'd gone over to the middle, she was last, and she's come roaring through, finished sixth. You know, cat's out the bag as far as her handicap mark's concerned, isn't it? So she's obviously extremely well handicapped. She's got a proper change of gear on her. The drop back to 7 furlongs isn't going to hurt her at all. And this is one of many races, I don't know what Tom thinks, but this is one of many races I was looking for that were on the telly. I don't want to oppose the favourite. And I think the bookies might get a proper pasting during Saturday afternoon. And our personal MOs are trying to find a bit of value against these favourites. And I'm thinking, I don't want to take that on. I don't want to take this on, and I don't want to take that on. And I think a few of them will win, and I think this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, I felt similar look to one. I thought, am I either going to win the Scoop 6 or I've got this completely wrong? Do you know what I mean? It was that kind of feeling.
I would say, boys, the problem is the fields aren't big enough to have a crack at one to take them on. Do you see what I mean? That you're not getting a big enough bang for your buck if Miss Nightfall gets beat, because it's I thought of Renine 6-1. I'd much rather back Miss Nightfall at 9-4. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I was thinking of all these Newmarket races. Really, you're just not getting, because the fields aren't. Sometimes the Banbury Cup's 20 runs. Do you know what I mean?
In the last 10 years, there have been 20 runners declared for every single Banbury Cup. Now, there have been an incredible 26 non-runners in the last 10 years, which is mental.
Yeah.
But every single time the race filled at the declaration stage, this year we got 13.
Yeah, it was Heaven's Guest, Richard Fahey's, I think, was the last winner in sort of, I think that was a 13-runner field as well, but that was 2014, I think, 2013. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, and too right. It's normally one of the big betting races of the year, but we'll get to that in a bit. But to be fair, I would slightly... I know the 3-year-old who was unlucky is always going to get put in as favourite, but misinformation, I mean, she's bred to be a group horse. she's a winner on the Rolling Mile. She'll handle the track. 7 furlongs, 8 furlongs, keeps winning, bred to be really smart, Boldy and Ossian Murphy as well. I wouldn't have been far off making these joint favourites, Tom.
No, I get that entirely. I mean, Miss Nightfall's going to have to get past her, isn't she? She's getting a lot of weight. I mean, I'm Miss Nightfall's biggest fan. She's been on my radar since the sales race at Doncaster last year, where she flew home from a terrible draw. The form, I mean, Camille Pissarro was in it. You know what I mean? She only just finished behind them. I thought at the start of the season she was one of the best handicapped horses, and I still think that. And she hasn't won a race. She got sort of wiped out at Goodwood, and then she, as Keels points out, Ascot. I'm like you. I can't split the pair. Page money takes choice. One of the misses will win. Not sure which one.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I think Misinformation. You think Miss Nightfall?
I think Miss Nightfall will win this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She's getting chunks away, isn't she?
Just one more shout out to the only other horse is Sarah Selker, who I thought ran an absolute cracker at Yarmouth from a bad draw back in May in a good race. Since then, she's gone up to a mile, but she's back down to 7 for the first time. So she was the only one I thought, okay. But again,
Bountiful didn't run too bad in the standing room. I know they fancied it to run better than that. George Berry's horses are in much better form now.
Yeah.
So she could maybe run well. But on what they've done recently, I think it's between the two misses.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Well, let's hope at least one of them don't miss. 250 then is the aforementioned Banbury Cup, where only 13 of them run at the moment. Let's hope we don't get as many non-runners as Keels was saying, or this will be a 6-runner race. But More Thunder is 11-8 now, which he was 5-2 about a day and a half ago, and he's been continually backed, and at this rate he'll be going off odds on. £10 is 9-2. Acadian Thunder 6-1. Run Boy Run 10-1. Myal 12's Alto, last year's winner, is 14-1. Dark 30 16-1. Billy Joe 20-1. And a few other old favourites in at bigger prices here. But More Thunder should have won the Wokingham. He's absolutely he's a remarkable horse, isn't he? Last year he ran on the July course, Tom, and he finished a length behind Burrito over 10 furlongs. And then he goes and wins 2 sprint handicaps at Newmarket. Absolutely remarkable stuff. And I think the second favourite is is what he's got in hand.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, I think he'll be running in probably Group 1s by the end of the season. He ran home as fast as Lazat, didn't he? In the Wokingham. Bit of luck he would have won. That's the one that got away. He's only a few pounds higher here, and it's a worse race to me. £10 was behind him. I think, sure, £10 properly stays 7. I was disappointed with him in the Victoria Cup. He was a bit keen, but they seem to be having another go with him at 7. And the other one, I thought of those that are a bigger price, EBT's Guard, who's a favourite of mine, might run well at a big price because he ran well in the Hunt Cup, but I can't really see him being able to what's he getting? Pound from More Thunder? Wouldn't have them in the same class. So, Keels explained it earlier, it's trying to take these ones on, what with? Do you know what I mean? You got Arcadian Thunder in there, you're getting 6-1. Do you know what I mean? I'd want bigger for him to beat More Thunder. I think More Thunder might start odds on. I think you're right, and I think the ones around him might drift. I think you'll get bigger prices.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you in EBT's Guard, though. I mean, weirdly, he's the only horse out of the Hunt Cup in this. If you backed every horse to run in this after the Hunt Cup blind in the past 10 years, you'd have made a 20 quid profit. And that's, obviously you'd have to buy back a couple of the big price winners, but it is normally an obvious sort of, we didn't quite get home, we'll drop back. And he got in a right bargain match as well, about the 2 pole, and came home quite nicely. So, yeah, I think he will run well. But I think More Thunder will be, I think he'll be in the champion sprint at the end of the season, never mind the Banbury Cup.
Well, no, I don't think he'll be in the champion sprint, because I think, but I wouldn't mind betting he's in mile group races next year. He wants further than 6, doesn't he?
I don't know, he might run in that 6 furlong on heavy ground.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
If it's on heavy ground as normal, then he might. Yeah, I suppose he could. But yeah, he's looked all year as though he wants much further than 6 furlongs, doesn't he? But he still managed to win twice and come within inches of winning a Wokingham, and now he's going 7 furlongs. And when I was looking at it, I thought, well, the only possibility is because he's rushed off his feet really early, and because they're going up to 7 furlongs and it's a small field, then well, what if they don't go very fast and he suddenly starts tugging and all that, and that all goes. But then I looked at it, there's about half a dozen of these want to go forward, don't they? Like, you know what I mean? So it's going to be set up for him anyway. So yeah, I think he'll win. If there was one at a bigger price I would back, it'd be Billy Joe rather than EBT's Guard. He was actually a massive eye catcher when behind Acadian Thunder at Newcastle. And just, I mean, that run at Royal Ascot last time in the Buckingham Palace is just a complete throw-out race, because he's a horse that needs loads of cover. He was drawn 3, and only 2 horses stayed on the far side with him. So
he's drawn 3 of 3 essentially.
Essentially, yeah. So he's drawn 3, and he just sort of, he doesn't want that. He wants to be covered up and held up. So if a few go forward, I can see him running through and getting the frame. I was having a look, see if anybody was doing a betting without market. Nobody has yet. They will do tomorrow though, and for me to have an interest, I'll be having a look to see what price he is, because I can see him giving those ahead of him in the betting a proper race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apart from More Thunder.
Yeah, true.
Got to mention last year's winner, Ross. Have to mention last year's winner, Ian Williams.
Yeah.
First and third in the big handicap today. The horse is in tremendous form. It won easily last year, Alto. It's just, he's only £4 higher. He's obviously been trained for the race, but he just showed nothing much on his comeback run. Now, I'm not, if you're the forgiving type, which I'm not, then you could throw that out and say it was just getting ready for this. He just didn't show enough for me to be interested. But, he did win it last year, and he won by 2 or 3 lengths, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He might be a bit high in the handicap, which would be apt given his name.
Very good.
11:08, More Thunder then for the.
That MB chap's just switched off. He doesn't like your puns anymore after that effort.
No, absolutely not. Well, I can assure you that most people preferred the puns to the quiz. So. So there you go.
They were pulling their hair out and get this rubbish off of there and get on with it.
Well, pretty much, yeah, absolutely. Which again, that's exactly the experience I'm expecting on Sunday. So it's nice to have it confirmed. But as for this, Diamond says, nice day for Tom's tracker. Is that today or tomorrow? Did you have some tracker winners, Tom?
You'll have to remind me, but I think I think so. I can't remember. You'll have to remind me what they were.
Yeah. Well, tell us, Diamond. Let us know what you think. More Thunder wins for me, says Gary Leo. Ian Sunderland says Alto might run into a place. Gary Leo and Dave Larmy, thanks for joining us. Now, right, moving on then to the 325 at Newmarket. It's a mile handicap here, which is normally an absolute banger of a race. But again, I don't know where all the horses... Well, waiting for Glorious Goodwill, apparently, because they ain't here. But Bedouin Prince is 9-4 favourite. Fifth Column is 11-4. Raffed is 7-2. Mr. Winston is 5-1. Secret Theory is 8-1. Thunder Wonder is 16s. And Sex on Fire is the 28-1 outsider of the bunch. And this is often a Charlie Appleby benefit. But admittedly, the Appleby horses often win with Buick in the saddle at very, very big prices, because this is normally, Keels, again, a 10, 12, 14 runner handicap, sometimes with loads of progressive horses. There are loads of progressive horses in here, but we've got a small field. Yeah,
and it's been won by Godolphin about 5 times in the last 10 years as well, isn't it? And they got 3 runners in it, which doesn't really help, does it?
Although, crucially, all those...
were trained by Charlie Appleby.
When they're all ridden by Will Buick the last 5 years.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, Bedouin Prince, you can see, can't you? Won 2 starts this year, won easily last time. Form's held up as well. Could be well treated over 100. I thought I might have found one though.
Okay.
Mr. Winston, real big baby of a horse. Finally got off the mark last time. He beat a horse called Cercios, giving it £5. Beat it just over 2 lengths, very comfortably. 11 lengths back to the third. Now Cercios had made its debut a few weeks earlier. Got beat 3 lengths by Remuse. He was giving it £11, but Remuse got given a mark of 98. And ran okay when fourth in the Jersey, and I just thought, he's probably been quite generously left on his previous pre-race mark of 84. And I thought he's a horse going forwards. He did win easily, and I just thought it was pretty generous. He's a big unit, so it's probably taken a bit of time to get himself organised and that. But I like the way he went about it last time, and he's getting absolutely chunks of weight off the others.
Yeah, and I mean, last year, if you look, he was admittedly, he was receiving £7 from Secret Theory, but he was third behind Secret Theory and Archivist. Archivist favourite for the John Smith's Cup. Secret Theory is here off 97. He's off 84. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's just. I just think he was second to Daikiri Bay. He was rated 93.
Who runs at 7:55 tonight? By the way,
runs later on today. Yeah, and it's just.
That horse, Keels, is. You're obviously a big fan of my trackers column. He's been in my trackers column 3 times, I think, because every horse that beats him, it goes in my tracker.
Yeah.
Well, because he was behind Love Beach, who also runs in the 7:55 tonight, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is it. So I just think he's a big baby who's getting there.
Yeah.
I agree with you entirely, and I had him penciled in as a selection 2, and then I thought it's 5-1, and I quite fancy Bedouin Pinch, and I quite fancy Fifth Column, and I think Rafed's much better than he thought, and who knows what Secret Theory's going to do, and it's Mark Johnson, Charlie Johnson.
You've got to find some races to chip into.
I know, luckily, if it was only this meeting, he would have been the selection. But luckily, there's York and Ascot and other places, but that was the only thing that put me off.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to end up he might win, but I quite like Fifth Column too, because I thought he ran really well at Ascot. He was another one. He won up the middle. He was a bit like the filly we talked about up at York today. He won up the middle and probably was, probably third or fifth best horse in that race. Could have even been better than that. And Tanya Winner back here, I thought he'd run really well. Ryan Moore, who I thought was an interesting booking, because Ryan Moore could have easily just phased out and got ready for the July Cup and the Superlative, but he's taking the ride there. So I thought, those would be my two, but Bedouin Prince could be could easily be miles better than the lot of them.
Well, see, I think he's off 100. He's going to have to be a very good horse, isn't he, to win this? But I really think he is. I mean, he absolutely battered Wicked, who I thought after that, crikey, he's well handicapped. He won at Sandown, one of the only horses came from the back and has gone up to 89. The horse rated 5th was a débutant for Rafe Beckett, who was a really eye-catching favourite memory. She won by half a Doncaster the other day, and she'll win a listed race in a couple of months probably. She beat the really well-bred Noble Horizon, and I know he bagged the rail, but he's going to do this. Is William Buick not going to do exactly the same again, Tom, and just grab this rail and just go and go and go?
Yeah, well, I mean, great though. This today, was it? Me and Keels run all these ones up the rail, and they kept getting caught by something up the middle. So I don't think it's any massive advantage if he does that. But yes, I do think he's potentially much better than 100 horse.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just hoping that while he might be better than 100 horse, he might need to be.
Yeah.
£16 to Mr. Winston. I mean, it's a chunk of weight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's but again, it's that kind of group horse in a handicap feeling. But you never know. All over Fifth Column, says Dave Brown, ran a cracker, I thought, on the wrong side at Ascot, still well handicapped, get on. And Ian Sherrin says Buick and Appleby for me.
Kingman Ross got a massive record at Newmarket. Kingman.
Fast ground kick again. I mean, the front two in the betting, both Newmarket horses, aren't they? Their sires. So, lovely stuff. By the way, if you haven't noticed already, look at that. Fantastic stuff. We really get the money's worth out of that one photo shoot you did, Tom. The Racing Post needs you to take the survey that is in the comments below today. It's ask not what the Racing Post can do for you, ask what you can do for the Racing Post. Click. There you go. That is a live reenactment of admittedly you actually. Bizarrely, Tom, you actually look younger now than you do in that picture. So, fair play to you.
Thanks, Ross.
All right. So click that, and you can win one of 500 quid Amazon vouchers. All right. Now moving on then, more Newmarket fun and games with the 4 o'clock. It is the Superlative Stakes. Something I'm sure the man to my left enjoys every now and then. But odds on here is Italy at 4-7. Saba Desert is 4-1. Wild Desert is 15-2. Venetian Lace 11-1. 14-1 is Moonfall. 33 is Rakeb, and Bourbon Blues is the 40-1 outsider of the bunch in the Superlative Stakes. Last time we had a Ballydoyle horse win this at odds on. It was, of course, City of Troy. And I believe it's another Tom Segal tracker horse, is it not?
Yeah, it was. It was when he went on his debut around Leopardstown. I thought he was just about the most impressive performance by a 2-year-old I'd seen. Still believe that. He's 4-7. This is a good race. I do think Charlie Appleby runs some of his best 2-year-olds first time up at Sandown. He likes using Sandown. So Saba Desert probably is a lot better than the figures make him out to be, because he was impressive too. And I think Italy will win. I think it's going to turn out to be a really good race. I think Saba Desert's good as well. And if you're looking for one, I don't know. Probably there's only 7 runners, so I wouldn't back it. But the top one, Bourbon Blues, I thought ran an absolute blinder in the Coventry and is crying out for 7 furlongs. So if there'd been 8 runners, I would have said I have a few quid on him each way, but there isn't. So I think it will probably just be like the 2-year-old maiden we saw earlier today, where there was a ding-dong battle between Godolphin and Coolmore. Godolphin came out top on that. On the nod, I think this will go the other way. I think Italy will win.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm genuinely a bit annoyed that there's only 7 runners because I agree. He went in my tracker, Bourbon Blues. Like I said, if you watch that Coventry back, he's a 7 furlong horse all over, isn't he? Brian Meehan is 1 from 1 in the past 10 years of this with Isaac Shelby as well. He had a 2-year-old winner yesterday in a photo at Newbury, of which I'm sorry, Keels, for reminding you about that, as you back the second. And he had a winner in these colours at Ascot today in the shape of Mighty Boy. So, yeah, again, if there was 8 runners.
Brian Meehan's very good 2-year-old trainer. He's a very good trainer, full stop. But he's got a Rashabar. He won the Racing Post Trophy with some horse that won by a mile 1 year as well. I mean, he's just a very good 2-year-old trainer, so I wouldn't put it past that. It's running really well.
Yeah, Hannibal Barca, was he the one a few years ago? He won a good race, didn't he, as well? Anyway, yeah, but Italy is he going to give the rest the boot?
Yeah, probably. I mean, the time is nothing special at Leopardstown, is it? But I prefer proven form over just the clock. And of course, the runner-up come out and finish second in the Chesham, so it's pretty solid form. Whereas Saba Desert, time wasn't special there either, and the runner-up and the third have been absolutely thumped since. Like, I think you can tell that's why one of the reasons why there's such a big difference in the market between the two. So yes, we'll probably win. Again, not a race I will be betting in. I thought Venetian Lace might run quite well to filly. It was 4th in the Chesham, but she's probably going up against some pretty decent colts here. So yeah, Italy, move on.
Yeah, if it's the Buick, it's like the Moore picking the Ballydor horse, isn't it? But Buick picking Saba Desert. But Wild Desert, I thought really should have won last time. I just got caught in a pocket and got beat by a horse who's bred to stay.
She's actually got considerably better form than Saba Desert, isn't she? He has.
Yeah. Again, but that, like you said, the Sandown race was a farce, but he won.
He did do it with a minimum of fuss, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He counted.
You could tell he was, even though he didn't win by far, you could tell he was easily the best horse. But
yes, and as you said,
is not strong at all.
Are you into names, Ross and Keels? What do you think? Do you think they would? I don't know. I sometimes think they're sitting there and they think, tick off the names. Let's have a look. This one's pretty good. Let's call. We're not going to call it, newspaper of record or Manchester Skytree. We'll call that one Italy. That one's quite good.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The sort of the cleanest, most recognised.
Yeah, they won the Oaks with was.
That's true.
I think, but I agree with you in the Colts sometimes because I think what you want in 5 or 6 years' time is obviously you want the adverts, don't you? You want it, come to Italy.
Exactly, and they changed the name of Albert Einstein or whatever he's called, didn't they? He wasn't actually called Albert Einstein.
Was he not?
No.
Yeah.
They changed his name.
Was he named after a Dutch painter, the 38th on the list of the Dutch? But what are we down to now? Who are we down to? But yeah,
they've been obviously waiting. They obviously keep them back, don't they? They obviously say no one else can have Einstein or Italy or whatever. We're waiting for a good one for you boys.
Yeah, absolutely. And he might give the Godolphin horses their just deserts. There you go.
Very good.
But I mean, you also say about names that again, they're both 2-year-olds. They must have gone, oh, what? Again, whoever did the name for Godolphin just went. We've got a few deserts on the list. I've been looking at deserts recently. We've gone for that. But anyway, okay, Italy 4-7 then, and like I said, Venetian Lace potentially without the favourite for Keels and Bourbon Blues potentially for myself and Tom in the chat. Saba Desert didn't beat much at Sandown, but Godolphin usually run the best 2-year-olds in the Superlative. Oh, and that's the other thing I was going to mention, Tom. That race that he won, Saba Desert, was won by Sunway, who's a Group 1 horse, Native Trail a few years ago as well. So, yeah, you might be right about that maiden.
Sandown Maidens, Ross. Keep your eye on them.
Yeah, well, Pride of Arras, obviously, last year, Cosmic Year. No. Yeah. Was he Sandown?
In Court.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah.
Loads going back. Palace Pier, loads of.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach Garver says Italy by 5+ length here. Lovely stuff. David Jr. is the horse Tom was talking about. Yeah, He won the Eclipse, didn't he, David Junior?
He did.
Junior won the Eclipse, yeah.
Maybe you won the Racing Post Trophy as well as a 2-year-old.
No, he didn't. It was something else because I gave the prize away and I can't remember what the name of the horse was.
I'm sure it was Hannibal Barter. Was it?
It wasn't. It was way before that. Way before that. We weren't even born, Ross.
Crowded House. He was a good one, wasn't he? Yeah. Was it Crowded House?
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
Purple and white colours, whatever it was. The Wilco colours. So the same colours as who won the Breeders' Cup.
Red Rocks as well, wasn't it? Same colours.
Yeah, and Red Rocks. Yeah.
Right, lovely stuff. Okay.
Crowded House, Ross. You can get one. Put it in your thing at the pub tomorrow night. That'll be a good one.
That is true. That is true. I'm trying to think, but again, I only know one line of the song, so let's move on.
And you've only got 3 friends, so how's your house going to get crowded?
Yeah, exactly.
I might live in a small house. You never know. Anyway, right, okay. The July Cup is up next. Group 1 action for the sprinters here. A notable speech is dropping back in trip to try and put these poxy sprinters to the sword. I've been running in mile races and classics, he says, as he comes up against the speedballs. 5-2, Flora Bermuda 5-1, Whistle Jacket is 11-2, Symbol of Honour 13-2, Inner Sharing 7-1, Believing 15-2, Big Mojo 11s, Jassor is 20-1, and you've got the Jersey second Spy Chief. You've got, admittedly quite interesting, I think, Night Raider. You've got Ides of March. You've got Rogue Lightning, No Half Measures, Run to Freedom, and Twilight Calls at the age of 7. Making up the field here for the July Cup. 15 of them go to post here, and if the sprinters are no good, let's see how the milers do up against them. But I've already asked Keels this off air, Tom. So horses who've never run over a trip shorter than a mile in Group 1 sprints last 25 years. What do you think the record is?
I have no. You're going to say 0 from 50.
0 from 0.
0 from 0.
So there you go. And the last horse to win a Group 1 sprint, having never run in a sprint, was Mozart in 2001. So I think it's fair to say that these are uncharted waters for notable speech.
100% they are. But you can understand why they're doing it, can't you? Because no one. I've been banging on about it for years, but we're rubbish at sprinting. We're rubbish at it. I mean, look at Flora Bermuda. Flora Bermuda, if notable speech went in there, Flora Bermuda would be what? 3-1 favourite? She has run, the last 5 times she's run, she's been 30-1, 33-1, 25-1, 14-1, and 12-1. She hasn't won any of them. But she's obviously run really well, and she's a very high-class horse, so I'm very fond of. But we're not talking a great level of form that notable speech has to beat. And that's why he's the price he is. Personally, I think it's way too short. Look, he could win, but he's got huge blowout potential as well, hasn't he?
Well, I think you're talking about prices, Tom. This is I feel like you change the connections and whatnot. This is the kind of horse that I want to take a chance on at 7 or 8-1. I don't want to back him at 5-2.
100%. If he was sitting there at 5 or 6, 7-1, we'd all be sitting there as 2,000 guineas winner running against a whole load of, what we know aren't brilliant sprinters. So we'll have a crack at him. But 5-2, he might win easily. The vibes are going around that he's absolutely smashed up Symbol of Honour and Shadow of Light in a gallop over 6 furlongs, and that he'll have no problems dropping back to trip. And we've seen what Godolphin have done all week. He could easily win. He's a 2,000 guineas winner. But throw in the fact that he actually hasn't run that well for quite a bit of time. People could say that he's, he might like dropping it back in trip, but he hasn't run that well in the Lock-in Order. He's run fine, but he hasn't run like a horse that I'm jumping out at me as in great form, and you want to back him in a July Cup.
Well, yes. I mean, if for example, if it was Rosalian, you might go, oh, okay, here we go. This is interesting. Because,
that's what I think. And so, but look, it's a rum. They're a rum bunch of sprinters. They have to be on what we've seen, but that doesn't mean I want to back him at 5-2. So he's off the list. Flora's got a very good chance. She's a very consistent, very high quality sprinter that's not had the best of luck. She's had some dodgy draws in her time, but she doesn't win that often. She might win one. She reminds me of the horse Keels used to backed all last year. What was the name, Keels? The mare that kept coming placed in all these races. Show Along,
that was it.
Yeah, Show Along. But she used to be 16-20-1 every time you backed her. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair to her, she has, as you just said, she has been 16-20 to 1. And is she 5 to 1 because this is a bad race?
Well, yeah, this is it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. She has to be, doesn't she? She has to be 5. She has to be that price because she's a bad race. And you know, she finished upsides that horse I tipped today, Night Ice, didn't she? In the Golden Jubilee. That's okay. Pretty good form. Night Ice ran perfectly well today, but it's not July Cup winning form. So I wanted to take them off. I mean, I did this anti-post a few weeks ago, and I went through a couple of 3-year-olds, Whistle Jacket and Big Mojo. I'm happy to stick with them. They've got some upside. They both had no luck at all in the Commonwealth Cup. The Commonwealth Cup form, while I hate the Commonwealth Cup with a passion, it's working out quite well. You know, the horse, as we say today, came and bolted up at the horse that finished 4th, bolted up at York. It was a bit of a weird one because the winner sort of was miles away from the rest. But Whistle Jacket and Big Mojo, it would have had no chance to show what they can do. They both like fast ground. They're both best at 6 furlongs. I thought they were both value pokes against a bunch of older horses that aren't great.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair enough. Like you said, it's it's not a fantastic race. Do you want some more stats?
Yeah.
There's quite a lot in this race, to be fair. Horses aged 5 or older, 1 from 86 in the last 15 years. That was Slade Power. Horses who'd won on the July course, because I thought this might be a good thing. The last winner of this who'd won on the July course, Elnadim, 1998.
Crikey.
1 from 79. First time cheek pieces in Group 1s for Inner Sherrin. I've lost the page. I'll come to that in a second because I don't want to. You might tip one here, or I'm going to smash with the stat. But
it'll be rubbish as well, though, won't it? So.
What's that?
It'll be rubbish as well, though, won't it?
What will be?
First time cheek pieces.
Oh, awful! Absolutely awful. In fact, no. So the past 25 years, there's only been 2 horses in Group 1 races who've won in first time cheek pieces. Full stop. They were both in the Matron Stakes at Leopardstown, bizarrely, and they are. Where are we? 2 from 128. And in sprints, 0 from 30, only 1 placed. Anyway, there you go. That's a few stats.
There we go. Thank you very much. None of it makes any difference to me whatsoever. I did back Big Mojo on Monday because I think he has been better than his last 2 runs.
Yep.
And I think he's got a big run in him if everything drops right. But I came to the conclusion in the middle of the week that Notable Speech is just a good thing. And not being one that backs these shorties, I actually did on Thursday. 15 to 8 and 11 to 4, 4 places each way double. More Thunder and Notable Speech. If I lose money on that bet, I mean, it's time to give up. Okay, neither of them is going to finish out the first 4, are they?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I mean, Notable Speech, you know, no, he hasn't been great this year, but he's been pulling the jockey's arms out. He's one of these, he just looks like he's become faster. You know, and that's the problem. He wants to go faster, and I don't see him having any issue with the trip whatsoever. And we're talking about horses. Flora Bermuda is rated 112. In any other discipline, that's like a listed horse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a bad race.
Yeah, it is.
All right, and at his best form, at his, you know, Guineas winning, Sussex Stakes winning best, he's just miles better than them.
Yeah.
And end of the day, I think he'll win. So yes, I have backed Big Mojo. I'll be quite happy if he does win. But I come to the conclusion that Notable Speech is just going to be better than them.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, partly the fact that no horse has tried this actually kind of makes me slightly more excited. If a few had tried it and it worked out, but you never know. This might.
Well, look, they've had one of the anti-post favourites for it for ages.
Yeah, they have.
And just come in and slung another one in, and they slung another one in Spy Chief. Now. You know, I was literally trying to fancy him, and then I thought to myself, is he just there to make sure they really don't hang around?
Yeah.
Because obviously he made it in the jersey.
He is a Kingman who's bred to be a Group 1 horse. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's no mug himself, and you know, and he did go quite hard. But I actually thought, you know, although he went quite hard, he actually saw out 7 furlongs extremely strongly.
Yeah.
Himself. I wonder whether he's just a little bit of a sacrificial lamb this time.
Possibly, yeah. 2 horses came from the Jersey to win this, Mozart and Stravinsky, everyone's favourite composing pair. Just quickly, you're saying about that, they've got Symbol of Honour here, who, again, just, you know, his record over 6 furlongs is absolutely phenomenal. He just does enough, but I quite like that. He always finds a bit extra at the end. Why have they?
He looks like
what's wrong with him?
He looks like he wants a bit further, doesn't he?
But that's what I like about it. But one of those sprinters, he goes further and he doesn't quite get home.
I mean, the form's not that strong, is it? I mean, I backed Arabian Dust today. Again, he beat her with short head. She actually ran quite well.
But he beat Big Mojo.
Yeah, he beat. Yeah, but
he's a gelding though. He's a gelding, Ross, isn't he? They don't. It's a Group 1. They want it. If they can get notable speech to win McGuinness, the 6 furlong race. People want breed speed now. That's all anyone wants. You get notable speech to start, and with a 6 furlong Group winner by his name, that's good for that. That's what they want.
No, you're right.
It's commercial.
The Dam won one race on debut over 6, and then stepped ever further up in trip and never won again. So maybe they are coming full circle. Okay, so it's one of those weird. It's not a good renewal. I think that's fair enough, but it's still a Group 1. It's still going to be interesting to watch. And the angles for you, Tom, to reiterate.
Well, look, as Keel's pointed out, and I think I said beforehand, he could be miles better than these. It's just I haven't got the each way double running, so I'm gonna go for the 3-year. I'm gonna go for Whistle Jacket, who did win a Group 1. Not many Group 1 winners in this race as a 2-year-old. He's got the horse form, not a good thing. I think he'll run well, and I think it's Mojo. They were both like 25 to 1 at the time, so.
All right, okay. You did. The sound went a bit weird towards the end there, so but it was Whistle Jacket and Big Mojo for you. You're hoping more Thunder's already dotted up, so notable speech will go in.
More Thunder's dotted up by now. Then it'll be, I'll be cheering on notable speech. Otherwise, I'll jump ship to Big Mojo.
Okay. I think this is Flora's day. I think the sprinters. I think they run in these races over and over again. Eventually, it drops. So the favourite has to prove it over the trip. Whistle Jacket. He's all right, isn't he? But again, he's got that course win, bizarrely, scratch next to him in a showing again. I think that the first time cheap pieces in sprints, if a sprinter's not going forward with zest.
Trends-wise, the old Sprint Cup at Haydock is the breakthrough race for first-time Group 1 winners.
Is it? So you're suggesting I should
hold
keep backing her or wait till...
Yeah, and I'll keep backing her because you'll be clocking me over the back of the head if she wins and you haven't.
Well, I won't see you for a week, so I'll probably forget, but fair enough. But yeah, okay. And to be fair, the only other one early in the week, I thought Jassor ran surprisingly well at Ascot. I mean, he'd run in the 5 furlong race early in the week. He came from last to 6th, and it was a weird race, wasn't it? The Jubilee. So he could run right, but it's just one of the, like you said, it's one of those races, isn't it?
He's a course and distance winner, Ross. He doesn't fit your stats.
I know. Well, that's why I looked at the stat, because I thought I fancy him. I wonder what course and distance winners have got. But hey, this is the problem with researching the stats to do the job as a presenter. Is I think, we'll find some interesting stats, and then it puts me off half the field. So yeah, can't have Flora Bermuda, says Tommy Daniels. Balding's horses on fire a couple of weeks ago, but not now. Spy Chief, great each way bet for Ian Parfitt. Ian says Tom sounds like he's fallen down a well. He has, but don't worry, we've sent Lassie to get help. Brian says, Ross, after the stats, what does that leave you with? It leaves me with Flora Bermuda. So there you go. Tom Williams says Flora Bermuda boring each way selection. Not if she wins, then it'll be an exciting each way selection. And a couple of people have said both US Navy Flag and alcohol-free were milers who won this. They were, but they were proven in sprints. They'd run over shorter.
Yes, beforehand. Yeah.
Beforehand, so slightly different. Anyway, right, that's our Newmarket races done. We've also got more at York and Ascot, and we'll be getting to those in just a second. Well, he's not going to win, is he? There's no chance of him staying the trip. Oh. DJ. All right. DJ, how you doing, mate? What can I do for you?
Ross, in the know. Come on. What's the story?
Look, I've asked and I've asked again. The word is you're an Irish racing expert, and we don't cover Irish racing that much.
What? Galway? Biggest summer festival of the year in Ireland. Massive crowds, massive occasion. That's no excuse.
Pretty good point, to be fair, mate. But look, I'll ask again, but it's still not up to me.
Who is it up to?
The viewers. There you go. It's up to you. It's up to you. We've had some fair enough complaints actually over the years to say there's a lot of good racing in Ireland, and you mainly talk about the British racing. So if you want David Jennings to come on during Glorious Goodwood and Glorious Galway week to give us his angles over in Ireland, then you need to like this stream. And if you get over a certain number, of which I'm going to make up depending on how many we get, then DJ's going to come on and give us a Galway preview. Because look, there's too much racing, Tom, and we need some help, mate. We need some help because I know you're putting Bellewstown horses in trackers and all that, but you can't do Goodwood and Galway.
Well, if he comes on and means that we don't have to look at Galway, I'm all for it. Come on, DJ, get those likes in.
There you go, lovely stuff. Right, okay. Let's go to York, shall we? For the John Smith's Cup, and Archivist is 9-4 favourite here. 9-4 favourite in the John Smith's Cup. It's 5-1 Seed That Storm, 11-2 Thunder Run, Hand of God 7s, Nakib 7s, Fox Legacy 9s, Briones 14s with Romeo, and you've also got Ancient Rome. The Charlie Hills also ran a blinder the other day. Have Secrets got course form. Phelan, Jim Golding, Paul Mulrennan with a 9-year-old. Oh, crikey, it's Yukon Glen all over again. Mirabeau, Old Toon Loon, Austrian Theory, and plenty more here for this John Smith's Cup. The main reason you don't get such a short price favourite in this race is because you don't get many William Haggas trained 3-year-olds who are bred as well as he is, who've got course form, getting into this race. 3-year-olds off 95, it was only a few years ago, people were saying these kind of horses don't turn up in this race because all the old boys win it.
Well, they couldn't get in, could they?
No.
They wouldn't get in a million years. 2016, Archivist as a 3-year-old would have had to have been rated 107 to get in at the bottom of the race. Now he's in off 95.
Wow.
The race itself hasn't even filled. So realistically, he could have got in and been in the handicap off 90.
That's mad, isn't it?
And it's crazy. I mean, there's a big talent drain when the good horses are going, year on year. We're getting fewer and fewer. I mean, 30 odd years ago, Wokingham used to be won by horses rated in the 70s. What I mean? We might be heading back that way. We're steadily going down. This is the worst John Smith's Cup there's been for a long while. Doesn't mean it won't still take some winning. And he has got a little bit to prove, Archivist. He did win well enough. He made a bit of a meal of it at York last time, but he was very strong at the end. Doesn't mean he's an absolute certainty to stay 2.5 furlongs further. He's got a full brother who didn't. He's got a half brother who did and actually would have been in this race if he hadn't come out just after being declared. Paddy Desquire as a half brother. So he's got to prove it. But Haggas had, the only trainer to realise that he'd get a 3-year-old in this. He actually had 3 entered for it at the 5-day stage. Archivist was the only one with other possible entries this weekend, but he's the selection. So that's a vote of confidence. It's not going to surprise you if he's still well ahead, and it's not going to surprise you if he wins, is it? I thought he was there to be taken on though, because he is short on experience. This is a much better race than last time, and I really, I was talking about it last night. I really do like Nakib. Who was, of course, once with William Haggas.
Yes.
Why Shadwell decided to get rid of her half-brother to Bade and Hookham, I don't know, but I mean, Julie Camacho must be pleased enough with what she's seen so far, because he's run really well all 3 starts. Pulling really, really hard first time, travelling very, very strongly second time at Haydock and third time at Ascot, where he was third to Ethical Diamond, over 1 mile 4. A bit like Hookham, he seems to be getting that little bit faster with age. Now, Hookham ran in the Ledger as a 3-year-old, but as a 6-year-old, he ran a career best when winning the Brigadier Gerard Stakes over 1 mile and 2, and he just seems to be having a bit more of a spring in his step. And he's been such a strong traveller on his last 2 starts. I don't think there's going to be any problem with him, and he will finish better this time. He actually shot through to take it up at Ascot last time. It was a good race. Ethical Diamonds Group 2 entered, isn't he?
Yeah.
At the Curragh coming up soon. So yeah, he's just run really, really well. And again, from a family that improves with age, there's no reason why he won't, just because he's gone to Julie Camacho, who may not have won with my very much hoped for Streets of Gold, but did win the race anyway, with Obelix rather annoyingly. So she's still in cracking form. I think he's got a right chance. I suppose, as you mentioned earlier to me, being drawn out wide might be an issue. So but that's a case for a lot of these. A lot of the rags are drawn quite low, aren't they? But I think Archivist is better drawn, isn't it? Yeah, in 6. But I'll take a chance. I just think he's a horse on the up, and I think it's a weak race. I think it's a very weak John Smith's Cup.
I agree.
Compared to usual.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got a bit of class.
Well, he was again. I thought it was a 4 when I first looked at this race, and then again. I mean, remember last year? I mean, last year was 1 beat 6, beat 10, beat 8. Epic Poet was 5th, and then 5 and 2 behind those. It was a proper. I remember saying, Tom, wasn't it? It was a proper low draw race last year, and you had horses at big, from wide draws that we backed quite a few of them, but there was Take Heart, who won at Goodwood. Epic Poet won something or ran something next night. Did he finish fourth in the? You put him up in the E-Board, didn't he? Ran a blind with the E-Board. In fact, last year, the last time, I thought maybe it was soft last year. I'll go back to the Good to Firm when Anmark won. They were drawn 10, 3, 8, 2 and 1. And then today, the 10 furlong handicap, the bottom 3 draws finish first, second and third. And if they do what they did earlier today and go over to that far side rail, the low draw is going to help. But then last year, if they come over to this near side, then they all get, if there's too many of them on this rail, they'll get stuck in the way and they come down the middle. So, yeah, that's just there's lots of numbers for you.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it's weird because the E-Board, you don't want to be drawn low, do you?
No.
But it's probably something to do with the start, whatever. But listen, that's the stats. That's the way it looks. I'm in Keely's camp. I think it's a bad race. So I was. I thought Archivist obviously had an obvious chance, but it was a weak race he won last time. Obviously, he beat Barley. I mean, it's not. It's just not great form. So he's. I don't think he'll have any problems with the trip. I think he's probably well handicapped. I know he's a tracker horse from the start of the season. So he's got a lot going for him. He's just 9-4 in a handicap when he's got to improve on what he's done so far. So I wanted to take him on. I get Keely's necky, but he spoiled that one for because he's 7-1 now, and he was like 14s or 16s earlier in the week. I thought Thunder Run had run really well. Now he's drawn even wider, but he's 2 from 2 at York. He won the Clipper Logistics handicap over a mile last year. He was 4th in the Balmoral at Ascot. Stepped up to a mile and a quarter for the first time at the Dante meeting here, and I thought he did incredibly well to win. If you watch the race, Clifford Lee is taking a pull the whole way up the straight, and when he stops taking a pull, he suddenly finds a horse in front of him stopping, and he finds himself nearly last with 2 furlongs to go. It's hard to win races at York like that. He picked up and he flew. He flew through the last furlong. He will love the trip. The faster they go, the better he is. I think the ground's right. He's by Night of Thunder. It's got to give a pound to Nakib. I think those are the two. I think those are the two against Archivist. The problem is they're both drawn very wide. I'm hoping they can get positions. If they can get positions early, they'll be fine. But if they can't, and it's a low drawn race, then c'est la vie. But that's not the way I like to bet on races. I like to bet on the horse that run the fastest, and I think Thunder Run can do it. I think he's really good.
Yeah. No, I mean, he was top of my list until I saw that box. But he was drawn 4 when he won here earlier on. But I think just looking at the course map, the mile 6, the 10 furlong start, there's a furlong until you get into that first bend. That's and right. Obviously, so you've got 5 furlongs in the E-Board. So you've got a lot more time to filter and find your position. But once they go down that first bend, if you crikey, okay, I've lost my position here, you're on the turn, and then you're on the turn again, and suddenly you turn into the home straight, and you think, I
think that's right. I mean, and I ummed and ahed about tipping one drawn low, but as Keely said, I think 7 of the lowest drawn numbers are the absolute outsiders of the field, and I just couldn't. I nearly made a case for Old Loon Toon or whatever it's called.
So this is what I was going to say, Tom. I thought there's 2 in here. One is Old Toon Loon, who was a massive eye catcher at Chester over 10 furlongs.
Absolutely.
Huge eye catcher, and a mile and a half round Ascot was never going to suit him. So he's interesting. I mean, again, a sort of speedy left-handed 10 furlongs. The other one, go on.
So he just gets behind, and it's a pace-favouring track. You watch the races today, and that's what put me off. I thought he'd just get back, and therefore have to. But yes, he's a massive price. Yeah, the other one.
I mean, Hand of God. I mean, he won a Royal Ascot last year over 10 furlongs on fast ground, and he looked a monster. He then had the rest of the season off. I presume there was a problem, so then he put a line through his run back at Newmarket, but even that was half decent form. And then he ran a blinder at Royal Ascot. I mean, he looked like he was going to win at about the 2 furlong pole, and then he didn't get it home. He's drawn 9. Tudhope, 4-year-old Harry Charlton, connections that won this with Sinjari. He's I mean, again, we're going to go for 5, 6 places for me, 7-1 each way. I like him.
That's fair enough. I just listen. I'm weird, but I don't understand.
was always beating him at the 2 furlong pole.
That's what I thought. I thought Nakib was going to beat him, and also I think, is there really that much difference between 12 and 9? Why can you win from 9 but not from 12? Or what? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Like 5 yards, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, look, it's not the draw. It's not the Hand of God is.
Yeah,
I would have gone Thunder Run, but he's drawn a lot wider. But Hand of God, 10 furlongs, fast ground, improving 4-year-old, and the Tudhope booking for me, I was like, okay, Yeah, now I'm interested. But
yeah, I get it. It's just I'm just not convinced. Sorry, I'm sat back there. Just not convinced he's quite in the same form. Yeah,
no,
he could be.
fair enough. Look, let's. No, I'm not going to make a Maradona joke. Can't be bothered. Right, let's move on to the two races that Ascot winner covered. The Summer Mile is off at 2:22. The favourite here is Never So Brave at 15-8. Hartem is 5-2. Coudoir 11-4. Prague 8-1. My Cloud doesn't go. And you thought the July Cup was a poor Group 1. This ain't a great Group 2, Keels, but you like winning this.
Yeah, I just you can understand the case for Never So Brave. I always thought My Cloud, who was now an on-runner, was a terrible price because he'd actually won off quite a low mark in Hunt Cup compared to what Never So Brave won off. And he was the horse that put up a group performance in a handicap. But he does have to prove himself, A, at a mile, and B, in a small field condition race, which is completely different, isn't it? Like, there's every chance of him being keen. Hartem's a solid one, but on official figures, Prague and Never So Brave are the best horses in the race, and Prague's 8-1, Never So Brave's 2-1. What was wrong with Prague's returning run when fifth at York? I thought it was a lovely season opening run over an inadequate 7 furlongs. He's got some really decent form from last year. That's why he's rated as he is. He doesn't want 7. He wants at least a mile. He wants a strong gallop. He will get that from Point Linus, who I will have a tiny little saver on, by the way, because he's very good over a stiff mile when the ground is very fast. And it wouldn't surprise me if he got a bit of a freebie. But in terms of class, I think Prague is every bit as good as Never So Brave and Hartem, and he's just a way too big a price.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I thought Hartem was going to be favourite here. He's an Ascot horse all over, isn't he? He's won the Jersey, he's won the Wolferton. He's drawn out in 8 and do the old slingshot around the bend and the Sean Levy. I thought he'd be hard to beat here. What about you, Tom?
Well, I'm desperate to take on Never So Brave. I don't get that at all. It won a 5-runner race last time. I mean, it was trap 31, but trap whatever it was. I mean, there was literally only 5 horses that had a chance. The ones that finished around it, Holguin, Mayal, Divine Libra was lapped today. Do you know what I mean? It was literally 31. The winning draws were, what was it? 28, 29, 32, 30, 25, 31.
And Divine Libra finished last today.
Yeah, it's a 5-runner race. That's what it was in the end. He might have won it easily, but he couldn't. Now he's up into Group 2 company. He got thrashed in the Jersey last year, when the only time in Group company before. This isn't a great race, but I think that. I mean, listen, he might have improved massively, but I don't think that proves he did at Royal Ascot. I thought it was just a silly race, one of those silly Ascot races where 25 of them shouldn't have even bothered turning up, and we would have just had exactly the same race. The first 5 would have been the first 5 exactly as what happened. So I thought Hartem was the one, really. I just thought he was impressive last time. I don't think the drop back, and I think the key to him is just very fast ground. I think he loves it. He's got a very good record on it. I think the stiff mile will suit him. I prefer him to Never So Brave quite a lot. Coudoir ran so badly last year's winner last time that I totally get Keels' cases for Prague and Point Linus, but I thought they'd set it up for Hartem. I think he'll win.
Yeah. So Hartem finishes notable speeches 5-2 to win the July Cup. And Hartem, who was just behind him in the Guineas and then ahead behind Rosalie in the Irish Guineas, he's 5-2 to win this.
And just in the Jersey Stakes
he's still arguing running against better horses than notable speeches running against them.
Well, that's what I mean.
Because they're terrible.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
This is so much of an easier task, but yeah. Anyway,
you go back to the Jersey Stakes last year, and Hartem finished 5 or 6 lengths in front of Never So Brave, giving him weight, and now he's one run. I get it he was mightily impressive visually. He was incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
But was it just a 5-runner race? I think so.
Yeah. No, I'm inclined to agree. All right, okay. And the last race that we'll quickly cover at Ascot is the 450. It's a sprint handicap. It's 18 runners. Tom has specifically requested that we talk about this race.
You liar.
In fact, first shot to come on, Tom. Come on. I don't care about this race. I don't like sprint handicaps. We all know the drill. But I don't have any opinions. However,
I'm going for Jacka Jarrow. Simply because last year, I know a bit about this horse, funnily enough, for a sprinter. He was right on the heels of Believing and Makarova, Group 1 winners. And in Ireland, after missing the break and getting hampered, he's joined Robert Cowell. He's had a few dodgy runs, but there was a bit more to like about his run last time on the all-weather. Robert Cowell, Jamie Spencer book, Trap 17. That'll do for me.
All right. And in fact, the cheap pieces early on I was saying about sprinters. The only trainer to win any Group 1 sprints in cheap pieces first time or regardless is Robert Cowell twice in the King's Stand at Ascot. So he is a wizard with sprinters, isn't
he? Is it first time?
He hasn't got cheap pieces, no, but it's more the fact that Robert Cowell can just put it. He's very good with sprinters. That would have been perfect, Tom, but
that would have made my day, Ross.
All right, never mind, Jack Ajaro. What does Paul Kealy like?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's another race with one of these incredibly solid favourites, isn't it? Because Holcomb Bay was 4th in the Wokingham, and that's his worst ever finish at Ascot. Yeah. You know what I mean? His other form figures there are 2-1-1. So yeah, and he's just as good at a stiff 5 as he is at a stiff 6. So he's going to take some beating. I have backed Woolhampton, who I tend to back at Ascot fairly regularly. Her form figures are 1-3-2-1, 6-6-1-6. 2 of the 6s she was only beaten a length and a half in big fields, including this race last year, where she hit the front way too soon. She only made a reappearance at Newcastle the other day, and I thought she was quite an eye catcher. Didn't get a run, was really finishing strongly and then had to be eased. She's only £1 higher than last year. I think she will run a fair race and hit the frame if being drawn low is not a bad thing. I thought to myself, most of the field went down the middle in the sprint this afternoon, and then Mums Tittle won it on the stand side. So whether they think, oh God, we better go all over there, that's another matter. But that won't be any good for Holcomb Bay either, then, because he's in 1.
Good for Jack Ajaro though in 17.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen this. I was looking at the draw stats, and a lot of it does happen on the stand side, and then every now and again they go over the far side, and one wins over there. So who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, I think she'll run a normal race. Existent will run his normal race. Possibly look like winning and not win.
Well,
he's had a stack of claiming jockeys being given the chance to try and kid him home, and now Ashley Lewis gets to go. It takes £7 off him. He's got an incredibly good strike rate for young apprentice. I think it's like 17%. He only rode his first winner in April or something. You know what I mean? So he's obviously fairly useful, but that's a fair test for anybody, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was messaging Tom Morley, who owns it, because I used to work with him a couple of years ago, and he bought every. I always look at the sales, see what Tom buys, because he's true. He loves the Sprinter.
Oh God, yeah.
And he said he was having to buy some new ones because horses like Existent. He was saying he couldn't win in a 2-horse race.
Who's the other one he had there? Used to run all the time, and has won a big race at Ascot.
Oh crikey!
Oh God, I can't remember the name of it now myself.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this year it's Existent and the other one.
Arecibo. Did he have Arecibo?
Arecibo,
yeah,
of course.
Did he, yeah.
And Quinault, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was saying he's having to buy some new horses because horses like Existent don't win this year. But who knows? Quick word from Musafi, who I thought would run quite well actually here. Comes out of a race at Newbury.
And Rhythm and Hooves, Ross. And Rhythm and Hooves. Must mention Rhythm and Hooves. Another Robert Cowell horse.
Robert Cowell horse.
Yes, I did look at that. That has become very well handicapped, hasn't it?
Yeah, Prince of Ascot, Royal Ascot winner, beat Kurdos very easily, and didn't run too bad. It's had dodgy draws. Ran very well in a Windsor race where it finished actually just upside Wolverhampton. They were both drawn on the outside. There's not much between them on that, and Sylvester's on, and it's about 25 to 1. I thought that was quite a big price too.
Yeah, lovely stuff. All right. Okay. Again, there's 10,000 good races tomorrow. So before we get the naps, just quickly, anything else you put up? Any other business, guys? Keels? Anything else you put up that we haven't talked about? Do you want me to tell you? Do you want to have a look?
Yeah, well, I can't even remember. There's too much racing on.
There's way too much racing.
There's way too much.
You must have tipped something in the mile handicap at York, Keels.
Montemessur's running tomorrow.
Oh yeah, sorry, Blue for You.
Blue for You, there you go.
Blue for You.
I knew there was one.
Not only a course specialist, but a race specialist. Full figures 2-1-1. First race at York tomorrow is on a lower mark than for each of the last 2 years. Shaped really nicely over 7 at the course last time. This has obviously been his mid-season target. He's got to beat Removes and Old Cock. But I think he just might.
And Tom, you've tipped well against him in that race, haven't you?
Yeah, I like Sister Fiat in that race. I thought he should have beaten Old Cock. He was drawn on the outside, went way too hard into the headwind, still was only beaten half a length. No chance from the middle at Ascot last time. Very good York record. He'd do for me.
All right, okay, fair enough. And I quite like Kosametsuki in the last Ascot as well. For Roger Varian thought that one would go quite well. Yeah. Okay, we're going to have an advert, the Naps, and then we're going to go through the Dundalk card tomorrow. Sign up to Racing Post Plus, then you get plenty of stuff, including you get to find out what Tom has tipped before everyone else does, and Keels has tipped before he does. Apparently, so there you go. Right, Naps then on Super Duper Saturday. Starting off with you, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to my guns with Nakib. I fancied him all week for John Smith, and we'll go with it.
All right, Nakib it is in the John Smith's Cup. Tom.
Jack Jarrow. Let's go for one a big price sprinter.
All right, Jack Jarrow it is then in the 5 furlong sprint. I think I'm going to go. I think Hartem will win. I think Flora Bermuda will go very close as well. Let's go for a big race group Peachway double on those two, shall we? Why not? A bit of a treat. Anyway, thanks for everyone for watching. Thanks for everyone for commenting. Thanks for everyone for liking. For getting involved in the chat. And John Trotter says, "Come on, guys, you can do it. 3 winners if they are a bit of a short price. They're not a bit short price because Tom's put a big one in, but hopefully they'll all go very close indeed." Rob Dixon says, "Go Bo Pedro," and I'm going to go home, and I'll see you next week. Maybe not Tom because he'll be on a beach somewhere sunning himself. See you then.